allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So, appeal number 3157 has been continued. I believe it's on the June agenda, but at the very least, it's been continued. So, appeal number 3160, the applicant Lisa Hobiak. Am I close? Property located at 257 North Aberdeen Avenue and zoned R5 residential. The applicant seeks relief from section 280-105F of the zoning code to allow parking in the front yard setback. Good evening.
Hi.
Good evening.
Hi.
This is the engineer. I'm Lisa Hobiak. I own the property. Okay.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you will now give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
State your name one more time.
Lisa Hobiak, Hobyak.
John Smurga, S-M-I-R-G-A.
And just stay close to the microphone so that you can be heard. Before we even get going, what's your relationship to 259 North Aberdeen Associates LLC?
That's a LLC I created to buy the property.
Okay, and you're the member of that entity?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Just,
You want the handheld? Sometimes that's easier.
That's okay. Ooh,
Okay.
that's okay. I'm okay. Okay.
just tell them what you're here for.
Oh, okay. I'm here to petition for a driveway in a lot that's between two properties. I own both sides, and there's a lot in between on North Aberdeen. And it's a one-way street with limited parking, very limited. There is a total of 28 houses and 7 driveways. Oh, there's 28 houses and 7 driveways that exist on one side, the 7 driveways on one side at present. And some of the houses have 3 teenagers with cars, so it's a tough place to park.
Okay. And the lot that sits between the house is part of the 257 address, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I think I saw somewhere in the papers that there was a reference to an easement. Can you explain that to me?
All right. Let me have the handout. Lisa is the owner of both 259. Can you hear me?
I don't think it came on.
Could you introduce yourself again for the record?
It was a red light. I think it might be supposed to be green.
All right.
Yeah.
Lisa is the owner of 259. And, okay, my name is John Smurga, professional engineer. I am the originator of the drawing. I made the drawing. Lisa is the owner of both 257 and 259 on North Aberdeen Road. 257 is made up of 2 parcels. There's a 20-foot strip that holds the house, and then there's a 60-foot lot next to it, a 40-foot lot next to it, which makes the whole lot 60 feet wide. The house next door, 259, which he also owns, is a 21-foot wide piece of property. Now, North Aberdeen Road is a 20-foot wide, with a 30-foot wide right-of-way with a 20-foot wide cartway, parking on one side, which leaves a 10-foot alley for people to drive down. It's not one way, but no, it is one way. Excuse me, it is one way. So you have parking on the one side, which means you cannot park on the southerly side of the street because that's the cartway allows. So Lisa decided that since she owned both lots and she has this 40-foot strip that is going to be available, we can fit parking on it. And the drawing shows that I'm putting 3 parking spaces on that with an access onto the street. Now, what we have to do in order to go in perpetuity, we have to encumber 257 with an easement for the benefit of 259. So the deeds will have to be rewritten, and 257 will be subject to this easement, and there's definition and meets and bounds to define that. So 257 will be encumbered, and 259 will benefit by the same easement,
What's the purpose of the easement?
just in perpetuity. She sells 259.
Who's parking it to, is it to permit 259 to park as
Yes,
well?
yes.
I didn't understand that question. 259 as well, including 257?
We're here for 257.
We're here for 257, but the parking is going to be done and an easement will be granted to allow 259 resident to park on this piece of property. Because she owns both pieces of property. So she either has a tenant in both, so it behooves her and it's in her best interest to have a parking lot for her 2 properties. But one, the parking lot will be on 257, so we have to then have an easement for the benefit of 259. Now, of the south side of the road, there are 10 houses past us, and because of grades and because of walls and because it would be impossible for anyone to have parking on that side. Past us, there's 2 properties right next door, or almost right next door. There's an apartment and there's an old commercial building that has parking in the front yard. There are 17 homes across the street, 7 of which has parking in the front yard. So people are, obviously, if you've ever driven down, and I'm sure you people have, down North Aberdeen Road, it's dramatic. So these 3 extra parking spaces would be very beneficial to the neighborhood because it will get 3 less cars having to vie for all those parking on the other side. And of course, all the driveways.
What's the relief that you need?
The relief is we want to build this in the front yard. As you can see, there is an addition going to be put on to the existing house. And right now, if I try to shove this thing back another 25 feet, I'm going to bang into that addition. So, and also, if you look at the grades, we're going to be taking out a couple hundred yards as it is. To move it in the back, we're going to have to take out probably 500-600 yards of dirt. So construction-wise, ease, and just a better flow of traffic, we have to go into the front yard. Now, the front yard is 25 feet, and as you can see, we're going back 30 feet. So the last 5 feet of the driveway will be outside the front yard. So it's only about maybe 2/3 of the parking will be in the front yard. So the relief we're asking is, asking for no other benefit than the people across the street have right now, allowed to have parking in their front yard. Obviously, that has happened over the years and years and years. This is a brand new development, and obviously we're here because we have a development plan on order, and the zoning requires that we do this.
So I just need to understand then, how far into the front yard setback, or is it completely within?
Completely in the front yard.
It's completely within the front yard.
And we go past the front yard by about 5 feet. Now, as you can see, I've made a driveway, and then I've set the 2 parking spaces back about 15 feet from the right-of-way. So there is a
Show us on the drawing where the parking spaces are, and
one here.
is the line of is the setback also indicated on here?
What, sir?
The setback, is the setback indicated on your drawing?
No, it is not. I'm sorry. The setback is right there. So as you can see, that much is now in the setback. And I'm leaving this grass strip in here, so of this 18 feet of driveway, only about 12 feet of it will be paved. The other 6 feet will be beyond the front yard setback.
There's a curved portion that comes down and leads to the street.
Yeah, that's the driveway entrance. No one can park in there.
You propose to cut into that and then go.
Yeah, the car will come in here, can park here, and can park here, and park here. So there'll be 3 parking spaces.
I'm a little confused. Is the empty lot part of the parcel?
Yes, sir. 257 owns a 20-foot strip.
Well, I'm not talking about ownership. I'm talking about parcel.
The parcel is part and parcel of 257. 257 is deeded with 2 lots.
No, that's not the same though, is it?
No, I'm going to say.
There's
it a
only
little
one tax
differently.
parcel number there.
I'm going to say it differently. You tell me if I'm wrong. So my understanding is that 257 is a 60-foot wide lot.
Correct.
It is a single parcel,
Yeah, that's,
60
if
feet
that's
wide.
the case, I'm fine. But
Right, right.
a little strange otherwise. And you have development plans, but that's not in front of us.
Well, this will be the ultimate development plan, but right now, we're using it for the variance.
Does the driveway apron impact our determination, or is it just the parking component?
Just the parking component. This is the only way. They need your approval in order. If this was a different zoning district, it could have been just a special exception, but because it's in the R5, they need a variance.
Okay.
So the code allows for it in certain circumstances, just not in this district. So because they're in R5, they need a variance to get that parking.
So how much space then is between the edge of the proposed driveway and where the new addition will be? In other words, the question really begged is, how is this the minimum relief necessary?
Here's the new addition. It's outlined as a hatched area, okay? As you can see, if I continue that, I'm going to bang into the chimney. So I get within inches of the, so that's why I stopped the development there. Plus the grades, not mandated, but made it engineeringly and feasibility-wise better in the front yard.
Okay. What consideration then is given to reducing the size of the addition so that you then reduce the necessity of variance for the driveway or for the parking area?
The addition is under construction. It's already probably framed out and
That's not the answer to my question, though.
but I'm giving you
What
the data.
consideration was given to reduce the impact on the front
None.
yard setback?
None.
Okay. You keep mentioning grades, and actually, if you saw me sort of talking before the hearing started, I was asking for a little advice on how to handle the grades. Do you know what these slopes are?
Right now, my entrance is going to be around,
No, I'm existing. What's your existing grade?
from front to back, about 12%.
Okay.
Now, what we're doing is we're coming in at 6%, and then we're going to continue at 6% all the way up and dig into the ground and put retaining walls in around here. As you can see, these walls right here would be retaining walls.
Is the existing grade where you're proposing for the driveway entrance less than 14%?
Yes,
Okay.
and we'll be left with about 6.
Let's mark a couple of these.
Yeah, we're jumping all, and we didn't qualify you as an expert either. So maybe we'll go backwards. If you could give a little
Yes.
recitation on your experience.
My experience is I've been a professional engineer since 1968. I've been before this board hundreds of times. I've been before the planning board maybe not hundreds of times, but many dozens of times. I graduated from Villanova in 1968 with a bachelor's in civil engineering, Newark College of Engineering in 68 with a structural engineering master's, Wharton School of Business with an MBA in 1972. Got my license in 68. I've been doing engineering since 1968. I think I qualify
And
as
your
a...
licensing is still in good standing?
Huh?
Your licensing is in good standing
Yes.
today?
Yes.
Okay. And do you ask us, would you move him as an expert then, to be considered as an expert?
Would you move that you're going to offer me as your expert?
Yes.
Without objection. Okay.
So why don't we make D to 257, make that A?
Well, why don't we keep the application as A?
Yep.
John, can you put your picture?
So 250, the application is A, the deed to 259 will be B. 257, the deed to 257 will be C. We have a group of, we have your plan, we'll make that D. And then we have a group of drawings which we could mark, let me see how many drawings we've got.
Just do collectively as E.
I'm not drawings,
Yeah.
photographs,
Photographs, yeah.
which will make E
Okay.
collectively.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Letter of support we'll make as F.
Yeah,
But
there
I
is
need to
one-
read that into the
There
record.
is one letter of support.
Yeah. Okay. Could you take us through the photographs? And if you put them up on the table so that they can be seen, there's a camera up above
Yeah.
that'll post
Could I
them.
borrow them?
Do you have them? Oh, here, you can take mine. That's fine.
This first photograph is looking straight in where the driveway would be. The house to the left of the picture is this particular house. It's a twin,
When you say this particular house, which
259.
259.
This is 259.
Thank you.
This is 259.
Yeah.
The property line is basically the fence line, the white picket fence that you see. The house to the extreme right is the house that's shown on 257. And it shows that as opposed to next door and going further and further north on North Aberdeen Avenue, you can see that the grades get higher and higher and higher. And this particular lot is the first one that does have the ability to get a driveway and parking into.
What is that construction, or the pile of dirt with the,
This was taken maybe about 3-4 weeks ago, and this house right here, this addition, was under construction, and they dug out the footings and
Here's the
foundations.
street address, 257.
257.
All right, how about the second photograph?
257 is just a shot looking down North Aberdeen Avenue. The south side, you can see the extreme grade break going uphill, which would make it virtually impossible to put any parking on the south side. You can see the parking along the street, and then you can see the cartway itself with the white arrow there. So, you know, people, there's 27 homes vying for all those parking spaces. And then you have intermediately, you got driveways in between that block parking. So that's the same picture.
That's photograph 3.
Yeah, is basically the same. All right, this is a shot going across the street, and you can see parking and driveways in the front yard. That's a twin. There is a driveway on this side, the left side. It doesn't show it, but there's actually another driveway on the other side. And you know, they extend the driveways. They make the driveways double wide so they can park 2 cars side by side, 2 deep. So it becomes a 4-lot parking lot.
I think that's your next photograph, actually.
Yes, there's the next, which shows exactly what I was talking about. And just another one, and you can see these twins are side by side, and you got a fence in between them, but you got the same condition. Yeah, you got too deep, and they park, actually 4 cars park on those. And there's just the same scenario, just a different location on the south side.
Okay.
So here we would be able to make a purposely built to meet the spec of Radnor Township in the size and configuration. The parking spaces will be 9 feet wide and 20 feet long, which is by code, that's what they have to be. And we would be able to get 3 cars off the street.
Are there any stormwater considerations?
No, what we've done, this plan shows that there was an existing patio in the back of the house on existing 257. We are raising that entire patio, which adds up to 462 square feet. It's all broken up, and it would give a lawn and patio and recreational area to the owners of the new house. That house is well over 100 years old, and it's being completely rehabbed, plus the addition. So when you take the 462 square feet away, and we're adding 920 square feet, the increased cover is only 458 square feet, which is below the 500 necessary for stormwater.
Let me read that letter into the record. Have you spoken to any other neighbors? Use the microphone. You need to be on the
Here.
mic.
Hand it to him.
Jeff and Cheryl Biter own a business.
On the mic, please.
Jeff and Cheryl Biter, that's one of the letters you have. They own a business around the corner. I'm not exactly sure of their address because I had to send out 120 letters. But that was one. And then the woman directly connected to 257.
255.
5.
255, which is shown on the plan. That's the letter that you have in your hand.
Yeah, okay. I think, so Jess Staub emailed, Jessica Staub, so I'll just read that letter into the email into
Okay.
the record. S-T-A-U-B. Staub. I got your name right, but not hers. This was received May 18th, 2023 at 6:26 p.m. Good evening. My name is Jessica
Staub.
and I live in the twin attached to Lisa Hobiak's property. My address is 255 North Aberdeen Avenue. I am in full support of her application to allow parking on her property. There is a parking shortage on our street, and anything that helps increase parking is a welcome change. Please feel free to contact me at, I don't want to read her phone number into the record, with any questions. Sincerely, Jessica Stubb. Stubb?
Staub.
Staub.
Close enough.
Okay.
Rusty Staub.
And then we also have, so that one was marked as F. And then what we have here, it looks like a text message
Yes.
from Jeff and Cheryl Biter, B-E-I-T-E-R. Cheryl is S-H-E-R-Y-L. This just says, "You've got our vote, love you, Jeff and Cheryl." So we'll make that one G. Anything else?
That's it.
All right.
You want to move your exhibits in evidence?
Do you want to move your exhibits into evidence?
Should I give them this?
I'm
Just
not-
formally, do you move your exhibits
Yes.
in without objection?
Or up to D, I think it is,
We're up to G.
G, yeah.
moved into evidence
Yes, without objection.
for our application.
Okay. Any public comment? Come on up.
And still raise your right hand, I'm sorry, when you swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing.
Yes, I do. Diane Engelbert, E-N-G-L-E-B-E-R-T, 263 North Aberdeen Avenue. little bit south or below the road, downhill.
Will you use the microphone? I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I live down the hill from them, a couple houses down, and I think their plan looks like it's good. I do have a question, though. It's not up anymore, but my first thing is for the driveway, because I get a lot of runoff from rain and from snow, and I loved your question about have you planned for rainwater, because that's what I would like to know. I already get a lot of water from there, and I'd like to make sure that the driveway maybe is made of a permeable substance. He said looked like impermeable, but I need for it to not run more water down the street than is already running down the street. So if they could maybe tell me what the driveway is going to be made of, that would be nice to know that it is permeable. And I think that other than the telephone pole, I was just making sure that the telephone pole that's right near their driveway or where they're using for construction access, I'm hoping that the telephone pole is still going to be very solid and not affected by digging out the dirt that's around it. So it was I'm hoping that their driveway is going to not run water off down the street, and I'm hoping the telephone pole is very secure still. So that's it.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Come on up.
Raise your right hand or swear you in. You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but
I do.
and state your full name and spell.
My name is Michael Main, like Main Street. I am helping Lisa with the construction on the property, and I've been very familiar with all these papers and, all this, but I just wanted to add to the situation, to your knowledge, is that what she is doing there with her property in terms of rebuilding, totally rebuilding the existing house with the new addition, that all said and done, this will be a brand-new house. And then with your approval, with the addition of the driveway that would relieve a great deal of the not a good deal of the parking situation on that street, and then with nice landscaping, the whole thing will look, really fabulous. So, I just wanted to, I know that you folks don't necessarily get by there, every day like me. But all said and done, this will be a beautiful, beautiful product. And I've built many, many, many homes throughout Radnor Township in my career. So I'm very familiar with the type of construction that we're talking about. That's all.
Thank you. Is that a extra set?
Can I just find out what the driveway is going to be made of?
Well, you're not permitted to ask the applicant questions unless you wanted to become a party to the case. Okay. So we'll address that, I think. So, all right. I guess, is there a motion? I feel like I'm going out of order tonight.
I would move that we grant the relief sought by the applicant from Section 280-105F of the zoning code to allow parking in the front yard setback with the condition that the deeds are redrafted as testified to here this evening.
Is there a second? Okay. So technically, we would go into some board discussion, but I think it's fair to ask that question of the applicant. So if you could step back up, stormwater is going to, when we get into board discussion, this board is very cognizant of water runoff and the problems that it creates in the township. And I think your neighbor had a fair question, so I'm just curious how to address that.
Water runoff is a function of a number of things. One is the amount of land, the runoff condition of the land, which is a runoff factor, and the slope of the land. We're not creating any new land. It's still going to be there. The amount of runoff that's leaving the property now will be exactly the same, even with blacktop there, because we're reducing the slope. So you're taking a lawn that is sloped at about 12%, and now you're going to put a driveway in that's sloped about 6%. It may increase the speed of the water, but it's not going to increase the amount of the water. If 2 inches of rain falls on that property, only 2 inches of water can run off it. So we're not adding any land. We're not adding a bigger reservoir or a drainage area that's going to inundate that road. The land is staying the same. The 2 inches of rain are going to fall on that property, whether it's lawn or driveway, and the same amount is going to run off. It may run off a little bit quicker, but no more.
Well, I would have to argue with what you just said. You're adding impervious surface.
Yeah,
Radnor
I agree.
code does not give you credit for tearing up other impervious surface.
Yes, it does.
Well, then they must have changed it in the last year.
Yes, they have.
All right. The other thing, but that question's not in front of us. I mean,
I understand that.
it's one of the
I
times.
just think
when
it's one of those issues.
We should have an integrated process in a perfect world, because we should have Steve Norsini sitting here telling us what's what with the impervious, the issue of the 2 lots. Yeah. But we're only being asked about the setback. And you know, that street, I've driven down an awful lot. My daughter played ball over there for years. You're doing something that's, I think, very positive for the neighborhood. If you would consider doing some kind of retention,
Where?
underneath the parking surface.
I can talk to the client about that. Some minor amount or diminished amount
Yeah.
could be put underneath it. We do have that area.
I mean, I could see how this would work very well with a couple trenches and perforated pipe.
Area right here,
Yeah.
that is still going to be lawn?
Well, I'm saying you could actually put it under the surface.
We could do that, but then I need inlets.
Yeah,
This way I could roll the water off into it.
I understand. But that street, and then you have the stream there that floods. I mean, that's a tough area, and I like the idea you're really doing something positive for your neighbors.
And just to answer your question, they changed the ordinance. We now get up to 1,000 square feet of credit for removed impervious.
Wish they
Radnor
did that
changed
when
the,
I did my addition
they
2
changed
years
that.
ago.
That has changed dramatically.
Well, we identified, I was a commissioner.
Yeah,
We identified a lot of areas over the years where the code really wasn't fair,
correct,
and we tried to, and the plan was to rectify them.
correct.
Okay. Any other board comment? No? Okay. So, I don't think I have anything to say. I mean, for me, I'll just add something to the record. For me, I'm a little concerned about the lack of any thought put into how to reduce the request before us. Technically, on a variance, you need to ask for the minimum relief necessary. No thought was given to that. So, however, I agree with you that, the benefit here is to create 3 off-street parking spots where none currently exist is a huge benefit. We have no negative comments from any of the neighbors. So I'll be voting in favor of the application. But I would ask, and we don't have the right as this board to create any caveats to it, but I would ask the applicant to consider how to improve that stormwater runoff situation created by asphalt. So
This plan now goes for a grading and permit. So
Understood.
we have to do a grading application, which your engineers get a second bite of the apple.
understood. But just take into account what you've heard tonight and, perhaps find another way to cover this area.
Don't forget, the further back I go, more blacktop.
Well, we'll take a vote. We could just do it by sound. Yeah, there was a second, yeah. John? Yes. Jamie?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
I'm also in favor, so the vote carries. Congratulations, good luck with the project. Thank you, sir. Okay, I think we're adjourned. We'll see you in June.
You only asked me by 4 years for a license. I got mine in 72. Oh, you're a youngster.